Coming to you live from the Drew Estate and Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tabacco, Pat Chamberlain, and William Cooper.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. My name is Matt Tabacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I'm joined once again by my co-host and good friend from the Great South, Mr. William Cooper, and stepping in for Mr. Patrick Chamberlain, it is Nicole, who will now be making her debut on this show permanently.
Hello.
Hey, Nicole.
And I know Coop is very excited. This is a big show. I think Nicole's only been on this show one other time in a guest spot role. But now we have the female voice on the Spare Note show. So this is going to be interesting, Coop. You know, we've had a lot of fun on this show over the years, and now we have someone who might be able to, I don't know, balance the scales here with some of our conversations that we have.
Nicole's the best woman in cigar media.
Whoa.
I've said that from day one.
Powerful statement.
And so I'm really glad to have her.
Thank you.
Excellent. We miss you. We miss you. We know you had some very important things you were dealing with. So I totally understand.
Thank you. Although I don't feel like there's a lot of women in cigar media, so I don't have a lot of competition.
It's more than you would think, but yeah, I mean, it's I think you've brought a very good perspective over the years. I mean, I know you were you were more active in the earlier days, so I know what you bring to the table. So it's very good.
Well, thank you. And Mr. Luke is chiming in. World Series Game 7.
We have it on.
Yes, we do.
For me, she has no interest, but Coop, do you have it on, or do you need me to relay the information?
I have it on. It's
All right.
a little, I'm kind of, it's a little far away from where I am, but I do have it on.
The Major League Baseball season will end tonight, one way or the other. Will the Dodgers finally close? Will the Blue Jays finally close it up, or will the Dodgers seal a comeback so sweet on the road in Toronto? One thing's for sure: someone's going home with hardware tonight. It's Game 7. When's the last time a World Series was played in November?
Oh, they've had some World Series games in November. Oh, I don't know when the last time it was, but
It doesn't happen often.
No, I'm trying to think when the last time. Trying to look at that one up. That's
all I know is that there's a Mr. October and there's a Mr. November, and both of them played in the Bronx. You know who they both are, right? You're from New York. You should know.
Yeah.
Good. I got nervous there. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, Mr. October is Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
And Mr. November is Derek Jeter.
Yeah. I think November 1st, it was the Astros and Dodgers Game 7.
Oh, okay.
And the Astros won that game 5-1.
Okay.
So that was kind of an interesting series because it kind of went back and forth. I think the Dodgers won Game 1, and I think the Astros won the next couple of games, and then the Dodgers and Astros went. That one went back and forth, and but that one went to November.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, they got the trophy up on the pedestal there. It's bigger than you think too in person. I don't know if you've ever seen it in person, but it's.
I have not. I mean, I know you probably have had more access to that than I would.
I've held it. It's heavy.
Oh, we should have had that picture ready to throw up. It was
It's
a
heavy.
very young Matthew Tabacco with not a great your facial hair.
No, I have a more recent photo from the 18 series.
I know, but your facial hair was terrible.
From the 18 one?
Yeah, it was before you went full beard.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was definitely a change that was made. But yeah, then I have a picture of it from the 04, like 21 years ago. That was quite some time. Oh man, it was weird just to say that. 21 years ago. Fuck. But yeah, no, it's an interesting piece. It's not as big as the Stanley Cup, but it's bigger than the Lombardi.
Yeah.
and I think it's slightly smaller than the Larry O'Brien. But I can tell you it's very intricate.
Yeah.
It's very intricate because, like, the Stanley Cup's got the bowl on the top. You know, it's mostly just the hollow base, and they got the bowl. Lombardi is the base with the football. It's 2 pieces. Larry O'Brien, I think, is 2 pieces. The World Series trophy is like 33, maybe 34 pieces. Because each one of those flags is like individually, like, screwed into the base underneath. And I remember after the 18 parade, somebody threw a beer to one of the players on the parade, and it missed, and it hit the trophy, and it hit the flags. And I remember at first glance, everyone was like, "Oh shit, they broke the fucking trophy." Oh. But it didn't. It hit the flags. I think they bent a little, but it just kind of pushed them, and they unthreaded on the bottom. So then they like 3 of the flags were just like flapping in the wind. So when they got back, they like the bottom plate. If you've probably seen the bottom where it says Major League Baseball, so that comes off, and then all the screws for the flags are in there. And they were trying to like tighten it back up. Of course, then the Lombardi Trophy got dented during the Patriots celebration on opening day when Gronk hit it with a baseball. So the championship trophies have been damaged in Boston a couple of times. So unfortunately, shit happens. But we get excited, man. We we live it up. Anyway. It's good to be back. It's Saturday night, and we got a new thing going on here now. So it's gonna be a good time. First and foremost, Coop, before we get too far, it's the first time with the new set. I think you know what time it is.
Yeah.
We could not be here and do this show without our friends at ST Dupont that help us shake up the legacy every week with their fine cigar accessories. And this week, we have a brand new set, very limited edition, the new Arturo Fuente ST Dupont collaboration, which is right here, beautiful. In the biggie, yours is upside down, but that's okay.
Yep, mine is upside down. I'm upside.
The cutter was backwards, and I kind of very quickly spun it around. We got the Biggie lighter here, which is our 2024 cigar accessory of the year, as well as the Dupont cigar rest cutter that you've probably seen that opens up, with the black and multicolored X pattern from the new Fuente ST Dupont collaboration. Coop, we were actually at the trade show in the ST Dupont booth when this was unveiled.
Yes.
And now here they are. We have them, and they're beautiful.
They are, and one thing you'll see on these is the X pattern. And all these X's come from the Opus X release of various colors with them. So,
yes.
You have the red, which is base Opus X. White is Angel Share. The blue is the 20th. And the green, I'm assuming, is either the Dubai or the 25th. It looks more like the Dubai green on here. Because it's a brighter green.
It does.
And so I'm going to say it's the Dubai green. And there's a big Fuente. And this is, there's actually a Hulk collection as well, which is, that's very exclusive stuff that's on there.
Limited to 88 pieces each.
Yeah. So, and that had the one with the Carlito bobblehead, which, basically you're going to spend a year's salary for some people on that. So
I think, did you ask me on the Wednesday night show what the significance was with the 88? Was that you? Didn't you ask me that question?
I think I did, yes.
Yeah, did you know? I forget. Was there a significance to the number 88 on that?
What was this? Something? I thought.
Because of 858?
I thought it had to do when the line... Nah, it's not right. When the line 2 lighter came out.
I feel like there was an answer to that, because I feel like in the very, very beginning, when Les first briefed me on the collection, he said... Because you know how he is. And he likes to emphasize like really cool details. And I feel like in the back of my mind, I remember him emphasizing that, but I can't remember what it was about. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember him being like, it's 88, you know, like, and there was something there.
Yeah, I don't want to misspeak on it.
Mm.
They're
Me either.
yeah.
But then again, it was at the trade show, and my mind was all over the place. So he probably said something, and I lost it, unfortunately. But I'll ask him. We'll get an answer to that, because now it's just gonna bug me, because I feel like there is an answer to that.
There is probably an answer. I don't know the answer to
Well,
it.
yeah, there's pieces that I think are 288, and there's some that are 88. So
I
don't
think these
know.
are 288. The 88 is the
Yeah.
the more limited stuff.
Yeah. But interesting. I feel like there's an Easter egg somewhere in there.
Oh, there's
There
always
has to
Easter
be.
eggs. Yeah, yeah. There's always Easter eggs. But as always, ask your local retailer for ST Dupont products and shake up the legacy today. We also want to do a shout out to our friends at Perdomo Cigars, who helped make this show happen, featuring the 2024 Smoke and Tobacco Cigar of the Year, the Perdomo 30th Anniversary Sun-Grown Epicure, which is a fantastic cigar. And now we've got the Legacy coming up right behind it, so it's going to be an interesting year. Coop, I think that, I don't know, Perdomo's in a good spot. But they continue to be out there being the best. Quality, tradition, and excellence, the Perdomo way.
Yeah, we just yesterday wrapped up the cigar year reviews.
Yeah, that's right.
So we wrapped it up. That was a busy day yesterday. I had one last review. It had it published before midnight. Got out about 9 o'clock last night. So
Jesus.
And it was a cigar that was absolutely landing a spot, probably. So.
If I remember from Thursday night show, which I got about 3/4 of the way through, it was the, oh my God.
I smoked it.
Yeah, I know, because you talked about it.
I'll tell you what it is. It's not. See, it was the artist.
No, I know. The Connecticut, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there, but I just couldn't. Yes, and because I remember you said this one is going to be the last review that you got in. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was the review had to go through like the final process basically, and we had some stuff going on at home, as you know, and so my proofreader was very tied up with stuff, and so my wife, and she got it done.
She was on general contracting duty.
Yeah, we had floors put in, so yeah, it house was but we got it out, and it's kind of good because I could. It's just like getting these reviews out, as you know, is not a trivial process. And now I'm already into the 26 stuff. So, it's a year-long process, cigar of the year for me. So, and now I'm going through the process. There's still a few cigars that have to go through final smokes, and that will happen in November. And that we'll see if they move up or down the list after that. But I think the top of the list is pretty. This is a little more. I always say it's usually not a competitive spot for number one. I think number one's clear this year, but I think the competitive spot is for the podium this year. So that's.
Have you already settled on number one?
I think so, because I don't think any other cigar can knock it off.
Okay.
I'm
not going to ask you what it is, obviously, but I just didn't know.
It won't be.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean,
I will tell you, the Coop team members don't even know it.
No, and I know that, and I know how it works. Yeah, you keep that list under your mattress, but I just didn't know if you already knew this is the one.
The answer is I don't think any of the cigars can bump it out.
So for now, it's unofficially whatever that is.
Yeah, because now everything's resmoked a month later. So there's only some of those resmokes have already happened. So there's only a few more resmokes, and that's why it's a whole month to 6 weeks to get the list done. I have to finish up some of the resmokes. I used to do all the resmokes in like a 6-week period, and that was crazy. So now I kind of spread it out more. And basically, it really can only move up or down, and nothing's really. And then a couple of things could fall off the bottom of the list, but we'll see. There's a couple. I think there's a couple cigars that are on the bubble this year that could fall off the list.
I am smoking a cigar that and I don't know anything, and I don't even know what you gave this in a review and all that. I'm just going out on a limb here, but I'm smoking a cigar that I'm sure is somewhere on your list if I had to take a guess.
Okay.
And that is the new from Tabacalera USA, the Romeo y Julieta 150th anniversary.
So yes, it's on the list. I don't think it will fall off the list, but I don't. It's one of the ones that still has to go through the resmoke actually, because that was a
Yeah.
review that was published in the last week. So that was one of the last ones that So that has to still go through a resmoke, but it will be on the list. There's no secret. I just really don't have an idea where it's going to land.
I think it'll probably make it on our list too. I know Nicole really likes it, and I've so far, it's very rich, right off the bat, in a good way. There's a lot of flavor
did
here.
Tremendous job they did on that cigar. And I was down at the factory in September. They made that Tabacco de Garcia, and the team was so proud of that cigar. The group of the managers, they had such a pride with that cigar. I'm not just making that up or waxing poetic. They really, really were proud of that piece of work they did. So, and they should be. It was a great cigar.
Dude, you just look at this. I mean, that wrapper is grade A plus. I mean, it is beautiful.
It's Sumatra, which I hate Sumatra.
I know.
And it's Sumatra, and it's
Like, look at that. That is just.
It's been a few months since I smoked it, but it was really good from what I remember. I am due a resmoke, but I think this is your first stab at it.
Yeah, this is a nice treat so far. I'm enjoying this.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I remember liking it. I'm actually on my second Perdomo legacy of the week.
Yeah.
Connecticut.
really good to Connecticut.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say too much. I heard. I started going. Oh, I gotta stop myself. But yeah, I know.
No, it was
it's
really
good.
I felt like having a second one.
Yeah, this is her second one now.
Yep.
Back-to-back
Nice.
shows, same cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, William, what you got over there?
Well, this is a cigar that actually got announced this week, but I'm smoking kind of one that was, but it was kind of unveiled last year, earlier this year, I should say. They have Cavalier has the green jacket cigar, and I bought a box of the 2025s, and in that box there is a 2026 with a white band on it, and they announced the 2026 this week. So I am smoking that 2026 version that was in the 2025 box.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah,
So I'm
I feel
pretty
like
excited about that.
there was a couple of things that Cavalier announced this week too.
Yeah, they announced the Swiss regional as well as the green jacket. The green jacket's a really good cigar, actually. So this is, like I said, this is the 26 blend. I haven't lit it up, so it's not something that would be eligible for a cigar of the year, just because of the way it's packaged. But it's certainly worth smoking. I saved it for a good occasion.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
They are really progressing as a factory. I see the quality of the work is getting better and better out of Cavalier, out of that factory. So I think they're just getting good tobacco. I think the blends are on point right now. They're doing a great job.
My mom
This
just texted
nice.
me actually, which is I gotta share this because I'm like a little shocked.
Oh.
Because she's with my dad, and he's not, like my dad has nothing against the cigars. It's just not for him, and he's not really a fan of the smoke and all that. He's a very vanilla guy. I've tried, we just got him like drinking a little bit more than once a year. So I'll take what I can get. But she just texted me and said she's at a cigar shop in Kingston, New Hampshire, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Sorry, that just caught me off guard.
That's cool that your mom's in a cigar shop and texted you. How cool is that?
I know. She's in there, and she's
Yeah.
looking for herself. My dad's probably
Well,
like,
she's
come on.
with Lynn, so.
That's right. She's with her friend
Yeah.
too. So her friend likes him. So yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
She
That's
likes
awesome.
sweet cigars, but.
I hope
you
Mrs.
know,
Tobacco's
take her out.
enjoying it. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope you're having a great night. Yeah.
Lynn likes those, the cherry Tatianas? What was
Yeah.
the one?
Nothing wrong with them. And
No,
there's nothing
no.
wrong with them.
Hey, you know what? Some people, if that's what they like to smoke and that's how they get involved in cigars, right? That's like kind of a gateway.
Absolutely.
And
in
not for
between other
nothing.
ones.
Those
So,
cherry Tatianas, that keeps the lights on a
Yeah.
Miami cigar.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. It's funny, one of my, for those who know me, I manage a hair salon, and one of my girls came up to me recently and she's like, Nicole, I started smoking cigars. And I'm like, wait, what? And I go, because a few months ago I had told her, I go, that's the best place to meet like a single guy. Go to a cigar lounge. It's not like a club scene or anything like that. But she smokes, sweet and stuff. And she's like, okay, so now she'll ask me like, what is good? And whenever we get the opportunity, I try to share what I can with people. Like there's a couple young guys at work who work in different areas, and people who are like, oh, my husband, he just buys like gas station cigars. I'm like, say no more. Let me like make you a bag up for him to try. Tell me what like one that he likes, and I'll give you a bunch more, just to spread the love. So
Yeah. My niece is getting married next weekend, so the groomsmen are getting some very good cigars. I will tell you that.
I'm sure they are.
So I am making. I may be late for the rehearsal dinner, unfortunately. But I will get these cigars to the groomsmen. I
Yeah.
will promise them that.
Hey, any
I have
opportunity.
them. They won't be. And I will buy them. They will not be stuff that's left over
Yeah.
Coop stash. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get them some good. When my daughter got married, the groomsmen got Davidoff Nicaraguas.
Nice.
So yeah.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, cigars are for all occasions, you know.
Well, it is,
Yep,
but
yeah.
like, for new people, it's a our industry is small, right? So any opportunity to introduce someone new to potentially liking it, we need all the support we can get.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I was with my my company's a very high executive in my company. He doesn't smoke cigars, but boy did he pick my brain on cigars. Trying to learn, yeah.
I like that.
And
though.
it was a lot of fun. He was very intrigued by it, and then we got into the business discussions of some of the things going on in the industry. He was very intrigued by it. And then he's like, "Well, can you sell anything to these companies?" I said, "Absolutely not. They don't want money. Most of them are too small." I said, "Most of them are too small." So I said, "You don't want me wasting time on them."
No,
Because
but
our software is really geared for very large companies, so it's not something it would be overkill for
yeah.
most companies in the cigar business.
But I work in Mass, right? And like, I'm sure we'll talk about legislation in a little bit, but they want to increase the cigar tax in Massachusetts to 80% now. So, getting people who are interested in cigars who can help oppose in Massachusetts is so necessary, like
Yeah.
it's just, it's a dying thing there for sure, especially with the generational bans, and, we'll go into that
Yep. Yeah.
in a little bit.
Yeah. A couple of comments, real quick, 'cause this is the first time this is my first experience with the Biggie lighter, actually. I've had the Slimmies. So, I'm very impressed with the Biggie lighter, actually. It holds a lot more fuel than the Slimmy, which I like.
It's
And
twice
this
the
is also
size,
the
yeah.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've ever used the Dupont cutters. This is my first Dupont
You've
cutter.
never
I've had.
used any DuPont cutter.
Never used it.
Oh, that's
So
a
when
good
I got
one.
this was the first. So I am pretty impressed. It's a single guillotine, but it really works well. Very, very excellent cut you get off of it. So
It's very sharp.
And
Very
it stays
sharp.
the longevity, because well, I don't want to say you've had one for many years. and
I've
it
had this
works.
one since 2018, and this thing is still sharper than any brand new cutter from any other brand.
Yep. So
yeah,
like
wow.
long term.
Can we? That's a great stat. Whoever. That's Daniel. That is correct. He has really been doing his homework on the Coop list. We have not had a number one in Connecticut Pro League since 2013.
What gives? That's one of my
Because that
favorite
cigar,
wrappers too.
Because that cigar is the La Aurora's 100 Años Especial. That's the Maduro. And it was the cigar of the decade. So that's a very high, and I love Connecticut Pro. That is my all-time greatest cigar I've had.
Cigar
So,
or Connecticut broadleaf cigar?
Cigar.
That's your number one of all time.
That's my number one all-time since Coop launched 15 years ago. Let's put it like
Wow. I didn't even know that. You've probably mentioned it in passing,
that.
but
It's a cigar. It was a cigar of the decade.
yeah, I remember
Which,
you did that list.
We did 2 lists for decades. I did the best performing cigars of the decade, and then I did the most impactful brands. So I don't know if I want to do 2 lists. But it's hard to do. It's hard. They're 2 different concepts. So, and like the brand I thought of the decade was Undercrown, because Undercrown
Huh.
came, basically exploded for Drew. It changed Drew Estate, I think, greatly when that came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are
Yeah.
you gonna? Will you do it again at the end of the 20s?
At the end of 2029, beginning of 2030. Yes.
Yeah.
So every cigar, every cigar of the year, there's something that's put away, and they're smoked. They're smoked a year or 2 later.
Okay.
But yeah, so and every cigar of the year will be on that list, and then everything else is a wild card after that.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
It's
but
probably I think it's something that'll be fun to put out, but stressful to put together. But once it's done, it's cool to put out and be like, all right, because I know how putting a regular list together goes.
Oh my goodness, it's a year long. I tell you, it's a year-long process. It is a year-long process. It is a very, But I will say this: there's things I will say sometimes it's not worth doing in cigar media. That's absolutely worth doing. And
what the decade list?
You guys had a good. I tell you, the end of the year list.
Oh yeah.
It absolutely is worth all the effort. I will say this: you guys had I know you would talk. You were very critical of your list at times. I thought it was a good list. I thought you had a good list last year. I thought you really did have a good list. We both had the same brand at number 1. We just had a different cigar.
Yep.
He gets critical because we have different tastes, and so when I give input, he's like, I don't think so, and I'm like, no, you have to give it a second chance. So,
yeah.
Whereas you're the king of your list. Right, Coop?
Lisa has
he
no
has the
say.
annoying wife in the background being like, you forgot about this one.
We're talking about probably doing a team list at some point this year, which we haven't done. But I've been so set in the ways with this before I even had a team. That's why it's called Coop's list, because I just have all these. It's just matured to a point where it's my list. It's curated by me. So. And I do most of the review. Like on my side, I like doing the reviews. They're my deal. I haven't done accessory of the year yet. I don't know if I will, but I am expanding a lot of accessory coverage this year, for sure. Which the year started today for us on Cigar Coop. 2026 year actually starts November 1st. So I'm doing a lot more accessories because I really am enjoying accessory coverage. It's been our biggest growth area next to the food reviews.
That pickle witch, right? That was one of the.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
Well, okay, I'm for it, and I want to try it.
Didn't get a great score. It got an okay score.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, it's a pickle witch, but for someone who tries to eat low carb, right? You give what you can give. Yeah, absolutely. But unless you're like into that lifestyle, you'd probably be, less than thrilled with it.
Yeah, last year I did a pickle witch review with the Vito sandwich, which is was much better. The Italian meats work better than the roast beef. But we have. But yeah, that's like I said, the food reviews and the accessories are the biggest growing areas right now. I can't get over how accessories took off this year. It's been unbelievable.
Well, people also want to, some of these accessories are very expensive and people don't want to waste their money. They want something that's going to last, right? They're not buying them as frequently as they're buying a cigar, so they're doing their research. So, to me it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I was finishing up. We have a first humidor review is coming out tomorrow. So I haven't done a humidor review. So that was a 6 to 8 month process to review a humidor, by the way.
Yeah, it takes a while.
You have to make sure you want to see how it's sealing and things like that. Yeah. So those take a long time to do. You can't crank those out as quick. That's why I don't know if I'll, it was actually an old accessory. It wasn't a new one. So.
Yeah, we how many? I think we've done 2 humidor reviews.
They're hard to do.
They are because of what Coop said. I mean, they take a lot of time. Is it? Hold on. Is that Ohtani batting? Wait, if he's pitching the game, why is he batting? I thought pitchers don't hit anymore.
He can. They give him a lineup spot.
I thought pitchers don't hit anymore.
I think it's no, they can. Oh. They can. It's DH. I think you can put him in the DH spot.
So he can be a DH and pitch the game.
Yeah.
How did I not pick up on this soon? I mean, I
Maybe
don't
I'm wrong.
I don't
If
watch
I'm
all the
wrong, someone
time
could-
like I used to, but
I'll have someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. But he can hit.
because I thought the whole thing with the National League was they went to DH so that way the pitchers don't hit anymore and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch it as much as I used to, so I haven't been paying attention.
That's true. Cigar aficionado has never had a number one with a broadleaf that I can think of.
Really?
Really. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you consider half of their number ones have been Cuban, so that takes that out. Thinking of some of the bigger ones first.
Trying to think someone that came close, but I'd have to really go through the. I haven't even
Andalusian
started thinking
Bull
about.
was out there.
Well,
Opus X,
but-
Padron. That's Don Carlos. My Father the Judge. That was last year. Yeah, I think he's right about that.
Yeah, no, I know he's right on that.
Then you
I
think
think
of the
this came up
guys.
on-
Then you think of the guys who were famous for using broadleaf, and most of them, I don't think have ever even gotten anything from them. Like Pete's never gotten it. Zaka doesn't get it.
Malillo. He hasn't had number
Yeah.
one.
Drew Estate, I don't think.
Nope. They never
No.
had a number one.
No.
No, he's right on that.
Yeah.
He's right on that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, not that we like to spend too much time talking about their list, but someone who's still overdue for their list, Rocky Patel.
Yeah.
I don't know how he hasn't got one from them.
The problem is, the year he's had really good cigar, there's been something really better that year. I mean, he got number one with us one year with the winter collection. And that was a weird year. That was a COVID year. That kind of.
I remember that.
We that was an easy number one that year for him.
Was that
'Cause that was
21 or 20?
21.
Yeah, I remember that year.
Yeah, that was but I mean, last year I thought Conviction was a really good cigar. I just didn't think they were gonna give it to a $100 cigar.
Yeah.
But that Conviction, I'm not saying it was worth $100, but it smoked better than most $100 cigars. By the way, Saka's best cigar is that original Unicorn he did. It's the best cigar he ever did, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his stuff's all pretty consistent, in my opinion. I know sometimes certain folks on this call
Me?
are a late bloomer.
No, but I'm very critical.
I
I'm
know.
very critical of a cigar when it comes out. But that's why I don't review stuff off the truck either.
No, I know.
Yeah, I will tell you that Romeo Julieta, when it first came out, I was a little on the fence with it. I had it down at Pro Cigar. I thought it was actually I had it when I got back from Pro Cigar. I thought it needed a little more time, and it did. And then, with 2 or 3 months of age on it, it's fantastic, that cigar. So yeah, that was a slow bloomer on that one.
Yeah, I mean, age does help, you know. There's a few cigars I smoked back late spring, early summer when they shipped after the show that I liked, but I knew, with age, by the end of the year, this is going to be, hopefully, this is going to be something, as a strong contender. And as I begin to re-smoke some of those, I'm about 60% on those so far.
Yeah.
I won't say which ones, obviously, because I don't want to get into that whole thing. But, yeah, so far. There was a few that I was still kind of feels unchanged. Or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe I'm remembering it differently. I don't know. But the majority have been good. The thing I look at
and we'll probably get into this more when we get closer to year-end stuff. And there's a lot of companies that missed the list this year. Some surprises.
A lot of inconsistencies.
Yep. Some of it had to do with release schedule. Some of it just had to do with missing. So there are, I want to say, the last, Perdomo did very well this year, but the 4 or 5 years of cigars beforehand are probably going to miss those companies. So.
Interesting.
I'm curious where My Father Blue lies on your. I know you were much higher on that. I have not gotten higher on that cigar, by the way. However, still, however, more people I know like it than don't like it. So I will say, I actually brought one down to Hector Alfonso to smoke, and I thought he would hate it, and he loved it. So when I was down in Miami in September, I brought him one.
I have to smoke that one.
Yeah, I bought the box.
It was, what I will say is it's not my profile. I don't see that one changing. That one's just not a cigar that's in my wheelhouse.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, look,
Yeah.
it doesn't make you a bad guy. I mean, we talk about this every day. I mean, it's all personal. If you don't like something, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, I'll joke around with you a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, you know, it's not like you come up like, oh man, those people suck. That cigar was trash. Like, it's always just like hey, like I just didn't really like the flavor. And that's the thing. Everybody tastes everything different too. It's like those people who like have like the cilantro thing.
My son's in that boat. Yeah, my son's in that boat with cilantro.
So you have to with other things, people just taste everything differently. So I mean, I get it. It's all good. What I was going to say was, before we get into a couple of the interesting topics that I was going to bring up with you tonight, I was also going to bring up I heard you guys talking about, with Jay the other night, the Cohiba C8.
Yes.
And I saw that and I said, that's interesting. $250 for a cigar. The box is like $6,000. $5,000, something like that.
It's $4,000. It's actually $4,000. $39.99. Yep.
Yeah, I knew it was up there, and I remember being like, "That's interesting." I mean, I know General is really trying to push Cohiba as a luxury brand, in some respects. Excuse me. But I guess I'm not. I don't want people to get all twisted. I'm not knocking them and being like, "Oh, how dare they?" It's not a strange thing. A lot of companies have been going into 3-digit price points with cigars. I mean, we've already talked about a couple tonight. What I thought was interesting is you had mentioned that the last time that General released that cigar, it sold out very quickly.
The same day they came in.
Wow.
So one of my local stores, a store by the name of Tailored Smoke, they told me they were getting it, and they told me it was in. It came in that morning. You want to come by? You want to grab some pictures of it? I said, yeah, because I want to really see this one up front. And it was gone. I got there like 3 in the afternoon. It was gone. And the other store got it sold. Theirs out the same day. Cohiba is a brand that does very, very well in the Charlotte market. So Rubicon has exploded in Charlotte. It's my local store. One of my local stores is a cigar shop. They can't keep that cigar in stock, that Rubicon.
Really?
See, now I thought Rubicon was a weird move, right? I understand coming out with $150 and $250 Cohibas. You know why?
Wow.
Because the Habanos is doing that, right, with their Cohibas. So I could totally see General going in that direction. I thought coming out with the under $10 Cohiba was a little weird. I didn't think it was the right move, but I like people were coming in and buying them by the box at my local store.
The thing that's interesting about General's Cohiba, and I'm going to say it that way for a reason, as I'm sure you know why. But the thing that's interesting about General's Cohiba is, again, we talk about demographics of people, right? And the reality is like, as small as the cigar industry is, a small portion of that industry, or just the community, consumers, whatever, is people like us, right? That smoke everything, that know, that like to think they know everything, right? The average guy or lady who, just person who goes into the cigar store to buy stuff, they don't watch podcasts and all that. They smoke cigars, they know what they like, they buy, and that's it. And that's why we talked about this the other night. What's the number one selling wrapper by just about every manufacturer? Go ahead. Connecticut Shade.
Yep.
Because that's what. Now, if you would ask, one of us, well, we know the answer, but if we didn't know the answer, we'd probably say maybe like a Maduro or like a Sungrown or like a Corojo or something like that. It's like, nope, Connecticut Shade. And because the reality is the majority out there, that's what they smoke. They smoke milder cigars. Perdomo's Champagne, that's the number one SKU that they sell. Out of the millions of cigars they sell, is Perdomo Champagne. That's the number one with a Connecticut wrapper on it. And my point is getting to that is I talk to a lot of people, a lot of very casual cigar smokers in, my day-to-day. When I see people at work and they're like, oh, you're the cigar guy. Oh, I like Cohiba. I like Romeo. I like Monte Cristo. I like Rocky Patel. Those are all the names I hear every single day. And more often than not, it's always like, oh, I like Cohibas. I like Cohibas. I like Cohibas. And I feel like it's because they know that name.
Yes.
From Habanos. They probably don't realize the difference, but they know the name. Cohiba. So, which, first of all, on General's end, brilliant. Because they got this name, and there's a lot of people, and this isn't making fun of anybody or putting anybody down. I wouldn't know, right, unless I really paid attention, but they know that name, Cohiba. And they come in, you guys got Cohibas? And they just, oh yeah, we got them. And they don't know they're not getting Habanos Cohibas, probably. But maybe they do, maybe they don't. But they know, hey, you guys have Cohibas? Oh yeah, we got Cohiba. And they got Red Dot, right? And they'll sell it to them. And people buy it because they know that name. And it's just very turnkey.
They don't understand that, most people are not really concerned with the political ramifications of it, right?
Right.
We just ran the Weller by Cohiba Accessories giveaway.
Mm.
It was our second biggest contest ever.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that beat it was a Drew Estate Year of the Rat Humidor we gave away, which but that Year of the Rat Humidor contest ran a lot longer than this one did because I wanted to close this one out in a week. It was our second biggest contest, and I attribute it because of that name. That name and those accessories obviously have they have some sort of a luxurious tag with them, and people wanted in on that. And they're great. By the way, it's a great accessory set too. So I'm just saying. I think if that was another brand with the same accessories on it, it would not have done it well. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to put another name on because then it will hurt that brand. But I'm just saying. I think Cohiba. That name commanded that.
It's funny you say that because I had to go to Twins today, and I walked into the humidor, and they had the red Cohiba Weller set right there. And
we didn't give her the red
one. Wow, that looks good.
Black one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that looks good. I was wondering when they would go with the 107 because they did the 12-year first, I think, the black one. They did the maybe they did the foolproof. But I know they've done the blue and the black, so you got the 12 years of the black, you got the foolproofs the blue, and I was like, the 107 I would arguably, and Nicole knows her bourbon too, I'd say arguably 107 I think is the most common of the Wellers that people probably, people like the 12 year, they like the foolproof and whatever.
Yeah, but it's because people can get their hands on it more easily, and so then Special Reserve and 107 I would say are the most popular.
I'm going to assume that they're going to go Special Reserve probably by next year.
Yeah.
And then they'll do the green. And then from there, I don't know, maybe they do with some of the other a little bit less common ones. There's a single barrel, there's the CYPV.
You could do another vintage of the barrels or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying a lot of people know the 107 because it's between that and the Special Reserve, those are the two most common that people can get their hands on. So, and also the 107.
Which one was the black?
Weller 12 years.
Yeah, 12.
That made the Coop list a few years ago. So the blue wasn't as I didn't love the blue as much, but there could be other factors.
We didn't love the blue.
What
I
did
was getting distracted.
What did I miss there? We do this every year when there's a World Series game on. Springer gone on base. Oh, he
Yep.
started to run. Oh, they thought it was a ball. And then they threw it to second base and they got the double play.
Yep, end of the inning.
I got excited when I saw Springer got that base hit. I'm like, okay. Wow. Scoreless after one so far. Oh, man. So much tension here, Coop. We're baseball people, man.
I
know. Domain Cigars. 95% of cigar smokers don't smoke every day. Only 5% smoke every day. That's who we built Domain for.
One of the, I know he's here, and I'm not just saying this. Domain's been one of the great stories in the last couple of years in the cigar business. Here's a company that came in full born as a vertically integrated operation. They're producing tremendous cigars, and they're just getting started. That's what's amazing. There's an article I'll have coming out that I don't want to talk about because Daniel Lance did a thing on noise in the cigar factory. It's very, very interesting. We got so far behind with Entity closing out the cigar. Yeah, I haven't been able to get some stuff out. But yeah, what Daniel is doing down at Domain Cigars, and I'm telling you, real deal, tremendous cigars, and cigars you can easily smoke every day.
Yeah, I don't think I've met him yet, and
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll have to. My trade show this year, he was assume he was at PCA, right?
Yeah. In fact, the guys went to the booth without me. I was kind of bummed. But we had to divide and conquer. And that trade show stuff will be a whole other story for another day. But so basically we were just split last year was the problem, and so I was glad we got. Well, most importantly, we got there. The team got there. So.
Yeah, and my trade show was very difficult this year. So I didn't get to as many places as I wanted to. So I don't think I got to cross paths with him yet, but hopefully for next year we can meet up.
Great guy. Yeah, definitely start taking a look at Domain. I think they're the real deal.
Yeah.
We haven't done a best new company yet. We were gonna start doing that, and then there weren't a lot of new companies coming out for a long time, so we didn't never put one in. But maybe at some point we'll restore it, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done best new company.
Well, for a while there was like almost no new companies coming out.
Yeah, that's a hard one to do.
But again, when a company comes out of the gate, like a tobacco company, and they're a tobacco company, they came out of the gate. Really before that, the last company we sort of did that was JRE. When JRE came out in 2016, same thing. They had a factory to farms, and so it's not common. We see a lot of new brands come out. Like, someone goes and they contract it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great, but in terms of a tobacco company emerging, they're a great tobacco company.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get connected with them and.
Definitely the great guy Daniel, and he's got Esteban Diesla, who's making great cigars. That Entropy, Neutron, they're great cigars.
Yeah, someone had said before, Neutron is a great blend.
Neutron was top 10 for us last year for a new company, unheard of. That's how good that cigar was. Yeah.
Wow. That says a lot.
Yeah, tremendous. Even Aaron Loomis liked that cigar, and he hates everything. So.
That says a lot right there. That says exactly. A lot.
Yeah, he hates everything.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
Well, usually I keep him on track with the booth, so I wasn't at the trade show.
No,
you had some important things to do.
We were also short-handed too, so hopefully we rectify that next year.
Or we separate, and I do a lot of the smaller booths.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's big changes coming to how we're covering the trade show next year. I've kind of said that, but now it's for real because I came back from the trade show. I was physically not well, and I cannot have that happen again. And we were all just beaten down. We said we weren't going to go stretch the limit. We did, but now I paid the price afterwards. So I don't want to be back in the hospital again with sepsis. So that will wear you down. The trade show,
yeah, it does.
As someone who had COVID coming home from one. It was terrible.
Yeah. We actually used to have the media compound. We actually stopped having a lot of people because one year everyone got it.
Yeah.
So I've been really careful on that now because I don't want to get people sick. So, but I finally got COVID this year. I never had it till I came back from Dubai.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's right. I knew about that. You told me.
Yeah, and that was it wasn't bad as far as the illness piece went, but it did mess up my respiratory system for about 3 or 4 weeks, where basically I was not smoking much. I wasn't doing any reviews, and I had so much content that I was able to, keep it going. But yeah, I wasn't able to smoke for about 3 or 4 weeks for a while.
I remember that.
Yeah,
That was right around. When was that? What month?
I was right. Well, you were going through a lot.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that
May-
was right
May.
around. Yeah, that was
May,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I
Um,
remember that.
You and I had a conversation before I left Dubai. I knew what was going on,
Mm.
and then things were happening, and then I was sick. So I know we didn't talk for like a week, and I felt bad, but I was like, yeah, I was down with this COVID.
Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna.
Yes.
You got your own shit
Yeah.
to deal with.
I remember we had this conversation, but like I knew what was going on with your daughter because we talked as it was the night I was leaving Dubai. I had a night flight out of Dubai, so I remember that.
Yeah, I
Very
think.
vivid.
Yeah, we were talking about. Didn't we do
It
a
was a
spare notes
Saturday.
that night? Yeah, because I was like, oh, like you want to, I was trying to keep it too late, and you were like, it doesn't matter. I'm just overnighting this and going. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that was. I remember that night. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, Scherzer got out of 2.
This is you're gonna see some. This is great game 7.
Yeah.
I wonder if they could put Yamamoto in. He said he's ready to go. By the way, I wouldn't if I'm Dave Roberts do that. I think
Yeah.
you go with Otani. He's the guy. He's the guy you paid all the money to. This is him.
Yeah, let him show that 700 million was worth it.
Yep.
See, these are the games where like you get those guys with these big contracts, and everyone's talking about it all season. That guy got 700 million. That guy got 575 million, and it's like it don't mean shit until these games. These are the games you spend that money for, and if you don't produce, they don't spend 700 million on a guy so that I mean they do, but they don't spend that money so that way on a 1:00 game in May on a Saturday, he throws 12 Ks. They spend that money because when they inevitably get to the playoffs, God willing, either put a good team together, and it really matters and it's all on the line, he comes through and gets it done. You see like these hitters, they get these big contracts and they go like 0 for 20 in the playoffs, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It was like Aaron Judge last year. You got big Yankee, he's the captain, he's all this money. He didn't do shit the whole way.
Mr. June.
Yep.
Exactly. Now I'll say this: Aaron Judge was the only guy who showed up for the Yankees this year in the playoffs.
This year he did, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Oh look! I'm not gonna go too deep into it. The Phillies have some hard decisions to make, and I think it's time to break up this core, is what I've said. And if we have to take a step back to do it, then we take a step back to do it. We cannot re-sign Schwarber. As much as I love him, we can't give him $300 million. It's crazy.
We'll take him back.
It may be maybe the best move in this case. We have to look at. So, I mean, there's no excuses. We did, we lost our best pitcher, but we didn't hit. We didn't hit. I mean, if we were in the World Series against the Blue Jays, we would have lost because the Blue Jays played the best fundamental baseball I saw this year. Their baseball fundamentals were solid. They played a game well. I know there's always a couple of cases, but I thought they were dangerous back in July because I saw how well they just played.
I know all the Dodger fans were like, "Oh yeah, we got this. Sweep."
Oh, I didn't.
Sweep,
I think the
sweep.
Dodgers are really good. Look,
7
the
games.
Dodgers are really good. They're still, you know what? The Dodgers are still very good.
No, they are.
They demolished us. They completely outplayed us in every facet of the game.
But I knew
they
I'm like,
beat-
this
they
isn't going to be a
dismantled
4-game
Milwaukee.
sweep. I knew it wasn't going to be a sweep. I'm like, this.
No, I thought Blue Jays would take it 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good team. Before I don't want to bore Nicole out too much with the baseball.
No, I was just gonna say.
even though it's hard, because every year we do this with the World Series,
Yeah.
but
I'm good. I'm enjoying my cigar.
God, this is what, like our fourth
By the
World
way,
Series show?
this 26 is fantastic of the Green Jacket. If this is what they're releasing in 26, this is a hell of a cigar.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have to try that. I've been really fond of Cavalier lately.
They're improving all the time.
Yeah.
This is better than the 25 blend. The 25 blend was good. This is outstanding. This cigar. Wow.
I'm really liking the Romeo 150.
It's a great cigar, and like I said, it was so cool to see. And if you like to wax poetic and see these guys in the factory, you just see they were all enjoying this cigar. When you talk to them, they were so proud that they got to do this cigar. Because look, that factory's probably competing with AJ and Plasencia with Altadis,
Right.
and the Honduran factory they have. So obviously they wanted to put something out really good, and that factory is an incredible factory, by the way. Incredible factory to go see. They've done so much modernizing that factory in the last few years.
Yeah, I know you've talked a lot about it.
I think they're gonna open it up for tours too. So, yeah, you could actually already go for a tour if you're at Casa de Campo, but I think it's gonna be more regular tours they're gonna have.
Yeah.
So, don't quote me on it, but I'm not surprised if they do.
We'll have to definitely check that out one of the next times we're down there.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's in. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you did have to make arrangements to go there, or if you're Casa de Campo.
Yeah.
But you know the same people I know, and I think they'll be glad to get you hooked up, for sure. By the way, you know what's going on this weekend is the Pope Marvin Crusade, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I wasn't gonna mention
They're all out
it,
there.
but
They're all out there. So.
yeah, I saw the photos. Everyone's like, I'm in Vegas. I'm like, oh, okay. Ready for some trick or treating? It's Halloween weekend.
We interviewed Martin Cove this morning on KMA.
I didn't get to see the show, but I saw that he was
First of all,
on
the
there.
cigar is fantastic, by the way. It is a really good cigar. Second of all, it's interesting because Abe said because Martin was out at the Great Smoke and the Big Smoke, excuse me, and he's already done the Great Smoke, so Abe wants a comparison. He said to the two events.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah, but Martin Cove will be back at the Great Smoke this year.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he'll be back. Tremendous guy, by the way. It's funny because, you guys know Cobra Kai a lot better than I do. I knew Karate Kid. My recollection of Martin Cove was on Cagney and Lacey in the '80s, a favorite show of my mom's, who thought Martin Cove was an actual hunk, basically. And it was because in the opening scenes he'd be like in a police locker room with his shirt open. It was like. And he played like the ultimate male chauvinist on the show to the women detectives. He was really good on that show. So I was really the old guy remembering Cagney and Lacey stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm usually pretty good with
See, I know Cobra Kai on Netflix. The
Yeah.
remake.
Well, no, I mean the other one. Cagney and Lacey.
Karate Kid. Cagney and Lacey was a show about two women detectives, but it wasn't like Charlie's Angels. That one was like a career-minded woman, the other was a mom, and they were a detective team, and they faced a lot of for the '80s. They hit a lot of challenging topics on that show. So, and the writing and the acting was superb. I think it was a groundbreaking show in a lot of ways for female detectives. And my mom loved that show. I think she tuned in this morning. I don't know, to KMA. I told her.
I'll tell you what 80s like detective show I really liked actually, and I actually just started watching it again here and there because it's been a while. Is Miami Vice.
Look, that's that gold standard.
Yeah.
Gold standard.
And honestly, my favorite episode, the pilot.
The pilot was unbelievable.
Like
Yeah,
with the Phil Collins when they were like rolling like that. I think that's probably going to be one of the all-time greatest TV show scenes.
My dad drove John Johnson.
Really?
Because Don Johnson had a record with CBS Records in the 80s. And so he did this, he had a Heartbeat, it was called, or something like that. It was an okay thing. But my dad, that was like he never was fanboy with anyone, that was one of his fan because Miami Vice was his favorite show. He was like dressing like the Miami Vice guys. My dad, my dad was in his 40s back then, so he could get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he loved that. So, but I agree. The pilot was so good in that show. Hard to beat it. Hard to beat that. You know, the whole scene with the alligator and all that. It's like kind of cool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's I know. I get excited just thinking about it. I'm like, I want to watch it again.
Well, I think the streaming services, some of those free streaming services have it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but in the cigar industry, people love it because they filmed it in their backyard. I mean, Miami was filmed in Miami.
Of course.
That was we always love a show that's filmed in your local area. Like we had a lot of shows filmed in New York, obviously, so we were spoiled.
We've had a good amount in Boston. We've had our share.
You guys have had, yeah.
I would say
Ally McBeal's the one I remember in Boston. I went to college with Callista Flockhart, so I know that. I knew of her in college actually, before she became a star. Yeah.
Did you meet her, or you just like knew that she was around?
Never met her, but she was kind of well known as doing theater stuff on campus. So yeah, I did not meet her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was Rutgers' own. So
one of the things I did want to ask you about before we get to, not that we don't do this, but kind of bring it in a little bit. We had talked recently about possibly discussing the Nicaraguan tariff thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we currently stand with that? I mean, it hasn't gone in. Right?
No.
There's a threat of it, but if it did, I mean, 100%, I believe, is what they were saying they were going to do.
Up to.
Up to.
They could. So they haven't done anything. It's not. I don't think anything will happen on this year.
Bases loaded.
But what the deal is with this is completely different than what I would call the Trump tariffs. So it's not the Trump tariffs. This is something that is basically related to a trade law that gives the government the authority to put penalties on, to, for the most part. So, there's alleged human rights issues right now, and the specifically, there's something called the Trade Act of 1974, and Section 301 says that basically the government can respond with penalties to these countries that violate labor rights, human rights, fundamental freedoms. So there was a recommendation made by the U.S. Trade Representative, and they recommended that the Trump administration consider levying 100% tariff on goods from Nicaragua. This is going to public comment, so it's in a public comment period. You're not going to hear anything back on this probably for at least late November is when that comment period closes. And then there's probably going to review the comments on it. They have to put it out to public comment. It's not like they want to. They have to do it.
Right.
And, PCA, I thought, put out a good response. They basically said this is one they got to tread rightly on, because it's treading on stuff human rights is a tricky situation to deal with here. So I think they have to be calculated with that response. And they were very clear. They said, we're not going to be, there's certain things that have to happen behind closed doors, but they're working on it. So I think we need to see what happens with that. I would not rush a response out on this. If you have a comment period that's going until late November, let the comment period ride out is my period. Do the right response here. But I saw some people in the industry were submitting comments. And I just will say this, and I know Daniel did a good comment. I got to say, Daniel had an excellent response from Domain. So some were better than others. Daniel's, I thought, was a good response, and he talked a lot about things. But it is a very, very difficult situation you're dealing with there. So,
I mean, if it was to happen, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, Daniel has a good comment, by the way. Daniel's comment's really good.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry, I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Section 301 is the death penalty for trade. Supreme Court has little interest in overturning. Legally,
Yep.
there are a few maneuvers. This can
Yep.
also remove us from the CAFTA, all tobacco
That's the
supply
trade agreement.
chains. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a complicated thing. It's a very complicated issue. It's a very
Absolutely.
complicated.
All supply chains for tobacco will be affected for premium cigars.
Absolutely, and that's the point I didn't even make. But he's right because there's CAFTA agreement. So, and they basically said, part of the recommendation was to suspend benefits to Nicaragua from that agreement, basically. So,
that I think that, and it sounds like if it does go into effect, it's very hard to get rid of it. So it's not like it would just go
this
away.
is going back. Like I said, this has nothing to do with the Trump tariffs that we've seen this year. This is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
In fact, the whole investigation into this started under the Biden administration before there was even talk of what Trump was going to do with tariffs. I mean, he was talking about in the campaign about it, but this is something that was started. I always try to say we're apolitical on Coop. We don't get into that type of. We're not going to point Biden or Trump here. We're just saying this. It started there, and obviously the recommendation happened to the president. So, and I think you got to be really careful because there's human rights involved with this. So, I don't want to get into that too much because honestly, that's a dicey issue. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's on the surface, I feel like it's worth mentioning just in regards to, the little piece of like, well, if that was to happen for whatever reason, the reality is for what we do, obviously it would affect the industry, and I think that it would be in so many ways detrimental. And it could radically change a lot of things if that was to happen, and like those prices just went. And then you talk about supply chain issues. I mean,
it's a big issue. It's an
wow.
absolute and
people are going out of business.
I was glad PCA put something out in the first week on that. They needed to kind of at least say they're looking at it because it could be the biggest crisis the industry's faced since that chip, if not bigger. So
Pat actually commented in, it uses the Trade Act of 1974, specifically Title III, Section 301. Reagan used this during his term for his Reagan tariffs. And
I would trust Pat and seriously on anything with this.
And then Daniel said, if culmination is withdrawn, even Nicaragua tobacco sold to the Dominican Republic will be required to pay the tariff. This is in addition to the reciprocal tariff. Meaning, so I think the Trump tariff is like, is it 11 or 18?
18.
It was lower, and then it went up, right? It went to 18.
It went to 8. Well, it went to 18 basically.
Yeah. So this would be this plus that 18.
Matt, it's interesting because I do cover the cigar industry, and these are complicated political and macroeconomic issues that, frankly, are out of my knowledge of experts. That's why I don't spend a lot of time because I just don't have the expertise in this area. I'm learning on the job on a lot of as this is because we can't ignore it, but it is complicated stuff. Which is why we didn't get into. I didn't go crazy. I mean, obviously we're going to look at the Supreme Court with the Trump tariffs. What happens with that if they uphold the tariffs being if the Supreme Court upholds, and because technically a lower court overturned the tariffs and then the appeals court upheld that. So, but it's complicated stuff. That's why I give Charlie a lot of credit on stuff. He is much more well versed on this stuff than I am. And
he spends a lot of time on it.
Yeah, Pat obviously. Yeah, these are things that it's challenging. Like we're as much as we don't want to cover wrapper, bind, and filler anymore. It's these are complicated issues.
They really are because it's not. And I know just talking to Pat. I mean, it's not necessarily straightforward. Like I'll ask him a question, and I think I know it's not going to be a simple answer, but I think deep down I'm hoping it's a simple answer, and it never is.
Yeah.
Because his response is always like, it could be broken in several different ways, and then you got to go
Yeah.
from there on each one of those. It's really like a spider web because there's a
Yeah.
lot of different things that could happen, and it depends on certain things, and then what happens on each. It's very complicated,
Yeah.
and it's very serious too.
Yeah.
Because some of these things, it's not just like, oh, like this is gonna happen for a month. It's like, no, if it happens, it might stay there. And
Yeah.
that's it, which has long-lasting effects economically on the business.
Well, this might be
Yeah,
a
and
dumb
this is where
question, but like, do we think that Nicaragua cares to impose, uh, like they, with human rights and labor rule concerns? Do you think that this tariff impose would scare them into taking action to prevent this from happening? Like,
the the
like, will they do
I-
something? Do they like?
I think they will probably deny it. Would be my answer. So I don't. It's interesting what would be a resolution on this. Um, Good question. It's a good question.
Well, they might deny it, but if they don't want it to happen, they could also say, well, additionally, we're going to put in, these things into place to ensure that it's definitely not happening, because obviously that would, it's going to impact their economy as well.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Yeah. There's people probably know more about the situation down there. I don't think there's going to be like an exemption for tobacco. I've heard that one go out. I don't think they're going to make an exemption for tobacco and not something else. So
I don't
I
think
would
there will
definitely
be exemptions. I think they're either going to go into place immediately, right, or they're going to be rolled out over 12 months. But I think it's
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, but you see that Patrick's point, any finding of not firing out, it requires mandatory action. That's what that whole thing is. So
In other words, if anything they find, the smallest thing that's a non-compliance, a violation, it goes in.
yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, I'll say this: Daniel from Domain did a good job at like explaining it in layman's terms. I would check out some of the Domain Cigars social media and stuff. He did a much better job at explaining it in layman's terms than I could. So, I give him a lot of credit, and it's tough because obviously they have to be. These guys are in Nicaragua; they have to be really careful. So, you have to be really careful and stuff with this.
It is. I know we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But
But some of the supply chain issues are real, and that could be dangerous. What we can see happen with that.
like I said, I mean, I think you see people go out of business.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying. I mean, retailers and maybe manufacturers.
Yep.
I mean,
And
Yeah.
he makes a good point right now. We have offered our records to any government organization that would like to inspect, including CAA, PCA, CRA. With a comment period being active until November, I feel like a lot of these Nicaraguan manufacturers should be reaching out with that type of information. Maybe it would help. I don't know.
Yeah.
and
Because I don't think our manufacturers are, engaging in this type of behavior. But
of course, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, we know most of these people, and
yeah,
we all go down to their factories and see their operations, and we know, we talk about all the time how good they are to people, But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
they're not the only people down there, so
no, of course.
there's a lot of manufacturing that takes place in Nicaragua. I know I've seen a lot of stuff that's like, made in Nicaragua, and you have to wonder, like, how many of those are not so squeaky
Yeah.
clean, or
Yeah.
even just like whatever. But hey, you know what? I don't know, and I don't know. I mean, it's not. I mean, I didn't know anything about this until this thing came up, with pertaining to the cigar industry. When people started posting about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't really know. So all I really saw was like, oh, cigar prices could go through the roof. Anything related to Nicaragua, then this is bad.
Yeah.
So I know it's tricky to cover, and there's obviously a lot we don't know. We're not as well versed in this as some of the other people. But I thought it was worth mentioning, just on a note of like, hey, effects to the industry could happen from this, and
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
On the tariff note, I know that it was said that, and I know about the ruling and all that, but regardless, I guess, of any of that, it would appear that that Trump had gone to China and had a good meeting with the president of China, and he says that they have some stuff going on. And I'm not trying to get into the politics or whatever, but I'm trying to break this down for a specific point that pertains to the industry. So I don't want to get into public bullshit here either. I'm going to just say that now. It's not about that. But I did see in the news that he went there and whatever, and he said they agreed, on some deals, whatever, they're going to drop the tariffs. So having said that, we talked earlier in the year about how obviously China was one of the ones that, he wanted to, impose strong tariffs on, and how that pertained to the industry, because a lot of the accessories manufacturers rely on China. There's, certain boxes and packaging that come from China. So we had this discussion. Oh, the prices go up because of the fear of like the tariffs in China, and like, oh, they do go in, and so they have to raise these prices. Okay, now the tariffs go away. So now what happens? Do they lower the prices, or do they go, well, we already said this is the price, and people are like, all right, like what happens now? I mean, we talked about this. Like, all right, so what happens when 6 months from now the tariffs go away?
Well, I think some important companies have to make business decisions for the rest of the year. So they do have to make some decisions, and ultimately, I think sometimes there's companies that have been lax on their price increases, and maybe have to catch up, and so there's things that will happen, and they can actually, let things level off. I don't get too I don't sweat too much on this stuff. Is there any price increase that we saw that has like been egregious? I think most of the companies absorbed what they could here on this.
Yeah. I remember Pete Johnson specifically putting out a post about it, because he said something about because I think he was just going to eat them, and he was saying, that also, even though he did, it's like, well, that still also limits stuff on like the back end, like, hiring more staff and, business logistics, right? That, he'll eat the costs and not pass it on, but like that also limits him from doing other growth opportunities of spending that money elsewhere, because now he has to just take that.
And there's a whole macroeconomic debate on the long-term effects of tariffs that I'm not going to debate here. So sometimes you have to look at the long play too. And like I said, I know there could be long-term benefits to this. I'm not going to debate whether they're real or not. So I just think everyone, like, I got in trouble from someone when I said, because I didn't think it was a doomsday scenario, these tariffs, and I said it. And they were, like I said, most of the companies I think did a really good job at absorbing the tariffs. Honestly, I mean, was there anything that like completely sent stuff out of whack? That's a judgment call, I guess, for people. I'm not spending people's money. I just didn't see egregious price increase. I saw maybe some companies had to get ahead of it, and they just said, we're going to increase it now and see how this falls out,
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is it happened kind of quickly, and everyone was like, "Oh, I gotta be prepared. I don't want to get caught with my dick in my hands."
What do you do? You have to plan, and then what? You could next year. You don't have to maybe put the price increase in on something. So will they do that? I don't know. I'm not saying, but I didn't think it was a doomsday. Like I was hearing doomsday scenario at PCA. Right around PCA when these things happen. There was this doomsday scenario, and it wasn't a doomsday scenario.
Right. I just want to highlight, Pat actually commented something interesting. Maldives just passed their countrywide smoking ban law, born after 2007. And he also said, this applies to people who are visiting the country as well, not just sovereign citizens. We have a home run. 3-0 Toronto with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Bo Bichette.
Listen, the problem is LA is not hitting.
Dude, and I'll tell you, last inning they loaded the bases, left them stranded, but they loaded the bases. They're getting to Ohtani. They're putting men on base. They finally scored, but they've put men on base. They're getting to him.
Ohtani's out.
They're taking him?
I think they're taking him out.
Did Roberts come out of the dugout?
I'm looking at this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 700 million. What did I just say about a half hour ago? $700 million.
He also got the only hit for them tonight. So
Yeah, he did. But $700 million. Oh, he's a hitter and a pitcher. He's the greatest since Babe Ruth. Guess what? In Game 7 of the World Series, when that mattered most, he's walking to the dugout.
We would have all took him on our team if he got him. He's a special player.
He is, but
Yeah.
he just got sent back to the dugout in the 3rd inning in Game 7.
He's been a big look. He contribute. Yeah, I get it. And they put him on 3 days rest, and you could blame Dave Roberts, but I think Dave Roberts made the right call starting him. So.
Well, I mean, he had to.
His team's not right now. LA is not hitting. Is the problem?
Yeah.
That's the problem they're having. There's got a couple guys who've got on base, and they haven't.
And I know Mitchell is here. I saw him comment earlier. He was up there somewhere.
Obviously, Mitchell.
Go Jays! But I'm as much as I laugh. But Mitchell, I'm with you. I'm up there with you too. So, but he's here. I'm excited to see Mitchell is here. We got a bunch of comments in too. All right. So Daniel had said Nicaragua has a competent labor code that they enforce with regular auditing. The accusations made by the USTR need evidence. Sanctions against these violators, not the whole country. Yeah, see, again, this is where this gets kind of like
complicated. It's very
complicated. Yeah, it's over our heads on this point.
Yeah, I'm very honest. I'm like, you know what? Talk to people who know a lot more about this than me.
Yeah, yeah. I've been out a lot of the loop the last week or so. Has there been any updates with the California thing or the Texas thing recently?
No.
Any updates with that?
No, there hasn't. I mean, Jay talked a little about some things, but for the most part, there really hasn't been any update on that.
Yeah.
So.
I know that I got tagged by the PCA in some video where I think Glenn was on doing an interview, and he talked. I really honestly can't remember because I'm just kind of pulling this out of here now. Something about they had some sort of plan for Texas or whatever, but I haven't heard anything else on that.
The one thing I heard, and I asked Jay about this the other night, because they basically said that I guess the conversations they had with some of the legislators is they're not going to enforce this for tobacco. And my thing is, what if someone decides to enforce it?
Someone could go rogue and just, oh yeah, I'm doing it.
Right. Well, no, it's on the books. We're going to start enforcing this. So that was my only complaint I had. But that one, like my look, and when we had the last panel, I said it. I think that cigaraction.org should have been used in this case. That's, I think, the mistake I think that was made. I think some grassroots messages to the legislators could have helped here. I won't get into why or why not that didn't happen. I just think that we should be using cigaraction.org to the fullest. It's a good system, and that's how you get grassroots movement. I get like not everything could be grassroots movement. This one I think could have helped here because it's legislation being proposed, as opposed to something like the Trade Act, which is already legislation that's a law. So.
Yeah. And Pat put in this comment, which I thought was kind of interesting. Nicaragua is not on the same level as Cuba currently, but it is interesting to note that in 1930, the U.S. Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act increased heavy tariffs on Cuban sugar due to violations, and that increased tensions between the countries. Yeah. Yeah.
What's really interesting is, for us who've been down to Nicaragua, we love that country. I'm not saying we agree with the government or anything, but I'm just saying that country has great people. It's a wonderful place that I've been to visit. I'm not, look, it's a different country than ours. I'll just say that. But I've always had very good and positive experiences in my Nicaraguan visits. So they've treated us very well there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not just talking about the Nicaraguans have treated us very well.
Right.
And it was so warm. The people are warm there and everything. And when you go, and I know you haven't been there, but it is a place. I was just talking to a few of us who were at a Drew Estate Cigar Safari from like 10 years ago, and what a great time we had. We ventured into Esteli and things like that. So, Granada and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't made that journey yet, but
yeah,
I
made the decision not to do the festival in Nicaragua. It has nothing to do with anything going on politically there.
Yeah.
It's just that was a tougher festival to deal with, and I just made the decision to pull the plug on it, at least. So
Well, also too, like in the last couple of years, that part of the year has gotten very busy for a lot of people because there's
yeah,
so much
it's
going
got
on.
there's amazing amount of stuff that goes on, and I got like people already lining up asking for certain things in January, and I'm like, it's tough. PCA is a little later this year, but in 27 it's going to be very rough with PCA in March, early March. I
Yeah.
hate that time of the year, by the way they're doing it. So
Early March too. I know late March, early April, but yeah, then you go early March. That is early.
yeah.
Oh boy.
So I mean that's just one thing. So yeah, it's we're back in New Orleans next year, as everyone knows. So
Yep.
they have and Jay talked a little about that on Thursday night.
I don't think
So,
I got to that.
Yeah, nothing.
And Jay's
He
not
talked
here
about-
tonight.
Jay, I think his Jay has a personal commitment. I think he has to get up very early in the morning. So I think
okay.
that's the issue. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I spoke to Jay today.
But what were you
So,
going to relay about? What did he say about it?
No, I mean basically there's a few there's a few of the venue changes that they're going to be doing for the most part.
The after hours stuff.
Some of the after hours stuff, nothing that's going to upset the apple cart, just changing venues and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, we were skeptical, and we came out of it being like, I think and Nicole obviously didn't get to go to that one, but
But I have been to New Orleans before.
yeah.
I have gotten one piece of confirmation. I am in the Julio Aroa movie.
You are?
Yes, for two reasons. One is people have seen me in it already, and two is I had to sign a release form, so I am in it.
Oh.
And I asked everyone who saw it. They said I was good, and I didn't say anything stupid. So I am in it. So like I said, that's a whole going through that process was very interesting with that. So, but I am in it. I was confirmed with that. There's actually a couple. Jay took some videos because they actually played it in his store. So it was a little hard to hear the video, but I could see myself on the screen, which was pretty cool.
When is the full thing coming out?
They don't have a release date. I think that and Tatooine, they're trying to get distribution on some streaming platform because they got to make some revenue back on that.
That's I heard that. I heard that too.
Yeah.
From a very credible source, but
Yeah.
but it, again, it was like, well, I didn't know if there's any update to it.
No.
I hope so. I think everyone
I-
should be able to see that.
Yeah, I do know they're doing another one this year. So at PCA.
Do you know who it's on?
Yes, I can't say on the air.
You can't say. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say it on the air, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be a big one. Yeah.
That I mean, it's I can't help but get excited about it though, because like, and I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't think it really matters too much on who it is, because at the end of the day, there's so many people, there's so many families that have a great story to tell, the history, but even outside of that, it's great exposure for our industry, as small as it is, for non-cigars. I think the biggest thing about hand roll, I think it's cool for us because it's like, oh shit, like we know all this, but like you got people who don't really know much about our industry, whether they casually smoke or maybe they don't smoke at all,
Yeah.
and they're like, what is the thing with cigar? Like, why do people? And they'll sit down and watch it, and maybe my hope is they don't necessarily have to be like, you know what, I'm gonna have a cigar, and hopefully at least most of them do, but they see that, they educate themselves, they kind of know what's going on, they appreciate what we believe in and what we like, and maybe they won't be so ignorant. I want to use, I think is the best word. I've seen a lot of negative comments about cigars over the years from people, and and I'm always like, well, maybe if you just understood, you wouldn't be so crass about it. But I don't know. Either way, I think that there's a lot of good that can come out of those movies. For a
Oh,
lot
they're
of different people.
tremendous. And Jesse and Steve, who are the guys who do the movie, are tremendous filmmakers. I've gone through the process of being interviewed, and I could tell you they do incredible prep work, like you wouldn't believe. So they are very good at what they do, and they are very well versed when they ask questions. Even though you don't see them asking the questions on air, they ask questions, and there's a lot of preparation done with this. So I cannot say enough about Jesse and Steve, who have been doing all the hand roll movies. I want to see them make a lot of money. Is what I want to see them happen now. I
Me
would certainly
too.
buy it. Yeah, I want to see them. Yeah, and like I said, we have a permanent link on the Coop link. If you haven't seen the hand roll movie, just go to our sidebar and you can click on it.
I don't know if you see what's going on in the comments, Coop.
I was trying to just enjoy it quietly.
You know what? Let me tell you something, okay? Jose Blanco. I spent some time with Jose Blanco, and I've been very, very critical of events.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
we did a whole show on tablecloth events.
I am absolutely on if you think I'm on a rampage on press releases, you haven't seen me on the rampage. Jose Blanco came in and they launched the Don Carlos 90 at a store in Charlotte. And they did everything right with that event that needs to be. And and then the feedback I heard was, what was the best thing about that event? Jose was teaching and educating that night. And people, they didn't need an ashtray to take home, right? They were great that they had opportunity to buy a couple of the cigars, but they were all talking about Jose. He did a presentation that night. They were all talking about that. People absolutely can't get enough of this stuff. And that event, if you would have just had ashtrays, by the way, I think swag is good for events. I'm in the favor. I like swag at events, but that was an event, and I wasn't even at that event. I had to record Jukebox on a Monday night. That was a show we did with Garofalo. I had to do that on Monday, but I saw a video of the event. I talked to people at the store from that event who attended as consumers. They couldn't get enough of educating. Jose is the ultimate professor for a reason. He did a great job, Jose.
Yeah, I mean,
I almost killed Jose, by the way. I ran a red light.
Oh,
He was in the car.
oh, that's right. I forgot. I got to ask you about. First of all, let me just say, yes, Jose. We have a lot of fun with Jose.
Right.
And we do a lot of joking with Jose because he can dish it, he can take it. It's just fun. He's a real, genuine human being, and
right.
He's given us so much over the years in a lot of different ways, and we appreciate that. And he's just a great person to know. But I do need to ask about Cooper's driving service because I forgot all about this, and once again, Coop got sucked into driving Jose around. And which he did because he loved it.
I was glad to do it. Yes.
But how did this round go? Where did you go?
Mostly it was just at a hotel, the restaurant, and the cigar store. It wasn't a lot of like shop to shop thing. He had a rep to do it the next day.
Okay.
But I basically picked him up at the hotel, took him to the cigar store, then took him to the restaurant, then took him back to the cigar store, and then took him back to the hotel, kind of a deal.
How was his luggage this time?
No, there was no. Well, Jose's smart. He doesn't take the big cigar case with him because he'd end up. Honestly, I understand why. He'd end up giving them all away, so he can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So he did. So I didn't have to deal with his luggage, which was good. He was late coming down from the hotel. I was out there for about 15 minutes. But I ran a red light when he was in the car because he was talking to me, talking my ear off. So I did run a red light. Luckily, we didn't get killed. He goes, "You just ran a red light." I said, "Yeah, I know. Thanks, Jose."
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
I did say he could smoke in the car. He didn't smoke in the car, so that was fine. But he took us for a wonderful dinner. He took Ben came down from Asheville. He took our friend Joseph Smo, who works at Vintage, to dinner, and his wife as well. Who Jose really likes those guys at Vintage, and it was and the funny thing is, I had reserved the patio for dinner because I figured Jose wants to smoke, right? But it was chilly in Charlotte for Jose. It was upper 50s. It was kind of, even though it was covered, it was a bit
that's
overcast.
Freezing for his Dominican blood.
Yeah, so he wanted to eat indoors, and you know what? I wasn't gonna push the issue, so we ate indoors, which was fine. But I normally. But he was holding court. It was really cool to see Jose hold court at Vintage. He's, and he did a lot. He went and visited a lot of shops in the Charlotte area. I know that. I had to leave for a trip, so that was the other thing. After Garofalo's event, I had to fly out the next day. So,
You know what? Can I just pause you for a second? Because I gotta make a comment here. I'm sorry. I have to. In regards to his last comment, I don't find them interesting, and to me they come across as just a propaganda piece. I don't feel like they come from the subject of all. You know what, Alan? First of all, with all due respect, that was a bullshit comment to make originally about the cigar documentary. The more exposure this industry gets, the better, okay? And second of all, you say that now, but if Handrolled came out with a 4-hour movie about Altadas USA, you would be the first one making sure everyone saw it. You'd be going around from shop to shop, be like, make sure you watch the Altadas USA. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. It's just so ridiculous. I just, oh my God. Even Jay. So negative.
Jay is here.
Jay is here.
Listen,
Jay, I'm so excited.
Listen, it's we constantly listen. Like I said, in my opinion, Jose is one of the best people at events. So I'm biased because he educates, and the more you educate people, and we see people, they want education. They do, and I see people. I remember I went to now of all people, Matt Booth. I went to an event of his, and Matt had a round table. He basically literally was at a table in the round, and he sat there and he was talking about his journey in the cigar business, okay? Now, Matt is not a master blender. He's not a tobacco, but Matt is a cigar industry person. He knows the business.
And he's been around a while.
And he talked about his own journey in this very honest and candidly. And you couldn't get enough of it. You couldn't get enough of it. It is, I see when Rafael Nadal came down to Charlotte this year, and they did a Romeo Julieta 150 event, and he talked about the whole story about how they brought all these different tobaccos into the blend, and I could tell you, sales spiked after that presentation that Rafael did. Spiked.
Yeah.
People were going and buying boxes after that, and they were enjoying the cigar on top of that. They had a chance to smoke it. So I think education, people can't get enough of it. And it's a good thing. You know, I actually showed the hand roll movie to a few people who don't know about the cigar business, and everyone came out of that saying, my goodness, this is an incredible industry. Like, I don't smoke, and maybe I'm not going to smoke, but wow, the stories that came out of that. Same with the Newman one, which is I showed them the Newman one as well, which is out there. They couldn't get enough of this, and they thought this was just really, really good. And you know, there's a documentary that Carlito did back about 20 years ago called Modern Marvels on the History Channel. And what they did is they talked about different types of tobacco businesses. They did like cigarettes, and then they did premium hand rolled. And Carlito, I told Carlito, that is some of the best education we ever had. He's talking about Fuentes. It's like 2007. He's talking about this stuff. It's on the History Channel. You maybe I'll find it on the Modern Marvels. Again, that's just stuff that we just, like I said, people can't get enough of it. And I get, if someone doesn't like it, who am I to say that? But obviously there's a complete backlash on that comment tonight.
We can definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, people are.
I'd like to see one person agree with that comment. Now I get we're a cigar audience, but yeah. I think people, like I said, everyone. Did you see, Matt? You've been at some of the hand rolled unveilings, right?
Just about all of them. Yep.
Did anyone leave the room during
it?
No.
Maybe someone had to go to bio break, but no one left to go do something else.
No one packed up and left because they were uninterested. It was like maybe someone had to step out because there was something that came up. You walk into that room and everyone's just like locked in.
I mean, I remember with the Pete one, people were crying in one scene in the Pete one. I
stood next to Pete for that one too, and I remember
I was
in the back, and I stood next to him when it was playing, and I remember I said to him, I was like, wow, I didn't really know much about, and he was like, oh yeah, and I was like, see, and I said to him, I go, Pete, but this is why these are great, because a lot of people don't know this stuff, and he was like, I know. I mean, it really is.
I sat next to Christian and Justo at the Julio Aroa one, and Bear and I were very observant of the brothers' reaction watching this for the first time, and it was something you just couldn't. The movie was great for one thing, and then on top of it to see their reaction to it. And it was funny. Everyone's apologizing. They were apologizing that I got cut because I would have been in it. I heard if it wasn't for the governor, and I'm like, look, they're not here. No one's here to see me. Okay, I had a small role in it, and I was honored to even be asked to do it. But honestly, the problem, actually, the reason was they only did the first half of the movie, and really my input was later in the Julio Rose story, just based on my interactions with them. So. I was honored I got asked, but they would have to see, and they would have to see the Aroas. They weren't there to see, and no one, like I said, no one left the room. That was what was amazing. I've seen people walk out of other presentations at PCA. Do you remember the Perdomo presentation when they
yes
put it
yes yes
no he wasn't even speaking English. Like they had some, and that was Jose Orlando Perdomo. And that was a rare thing that anyone got to see.
Oh wait, no, with George's dad?
Yeah.
Well, I did not. Oh, wait, hold on.
They played a video of his dad being interviewed by someone.
What year? I remember a Padrone thing.
This was 24, the year of the 60th.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought. Okay, yeah. At first I got confused for a second. I thought you were talking about when he was there. I was like, no, I was never there for when he was there. But yeah, because when the I remember that one. Yeah.
Now,
it was on it was on Friday, right?
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Fuente Friday thing that Jose and Carlito did?
Oh, absolutely.
A line around the corner. Jose's like, why didn't you get in? I said I couldn't get in because you didn't give the media seats. I said I couldn't get into it. And I was watching it on Facebook. They were streaming it.
I think we ended up going early, which is why we were.
Yeah, we went early. Yeah. We walked in and you guys were already at a table and I was like, oh, and I remember I was like, hey, Coop, you was like, I got to do this. And I was like, okay. And you guys were locked in. And I'm like, we got to sit down.
It was so. I'm just saying, I see people, they want education. Documentaries are a great way to document the stories of this industry. You know what? It is somewhere, and I know you talk to Carlito, he wishes his dad was still alive because it's his dad, but he wishes his all these things that his dad did were documented as well. How do you not I don't know. I don't know what your expectation is. What do you mean it's a waste of time?
That's just such a stupid comment. Like, to make.
I don't want to call anyone names, but no.
I know. I'm not saying that. Just to make the comment though. I mean, I don't know how. I'm trying to understand. We've talked about this for so long. Of we need the exposure as an industry.
I'm actually gonna comment on one thing that Alan said.
Okay.
He said, in my opinion, documentary should be address a subject from multiple angles, not just being positive. Alan, I'm going to tell you something. I've been through the Julio Aroa documentary. It addresses multiple angles. And believe me, there were some tough questions I was asked. I don't want to give it too much away with it. But no, those guys, by the way, are not paid. They're not paid hired guns to do a propaganda thing. There were some tough questions I got asked that actually made me squirm a bit on one. So I don't know if it was used in the movie or not. But there was one I was like,
what's going on? Bench is cleared. Oh, the bullpen's coming out. Uh-oh. It's getting hot here in Game 7. Woo!
What?
I don't even know what happened.
I don't know either.
You're seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Gracie's paying attention.
Gracie's paying attention. Yeah. Luke Kelly. Oh, here's the replay.
Yeah.
All right, a pitch high up and in. It doesn't look like it actually hit him, but it was high and it was in.
Yeah.
It was close.
Jay said hit the guy twice.
Yep.
Oh, so you threw two at him. Okay. Oh, that one hit his hand. I don't think that first one hit him though. It didn't look like it hit him. That one hit him. Look,
getting heated.
I get it. The Dodgers are feeling sweaty. They're halfway through the game. They're losing. It's Game 7.
Game ain't over.
This game ain't. No, I know, but
Gracie said he hit him on the second one.
I get why. I understand why the batter would get pissed, and I understand it's all about the perspective of You know, like, oh, are they getting pissy because they're getting antsy because they're like, oh, this game, we're losing. It's the fourth inning. Look, I don't want to say too much, but I've been very fortunate to be in a major league clubhouse when they are in there, and I have heard things that they say to each other in passing. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say what, but if you watch a game and you go, oh, that's not intentional, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. And a real baseball fan knows that, but don't lie to yourself. I've heard discussions of things that were said, like, oh yeah. So, and I'm not saying that's what this is, but in a situation like this, I mean, it's still early. I wouldn't roll that dice, but I mean, I don't know. Some guys are weird, They're definitely feeling heat. Anyway, I'm sorry. I get into this, man. I'm excited. This is a good game. It's a good series.
It's a very good series. Yeah, it's the first Game 7 we've had in like 6 years. So
in a World Series, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Nationals. Astros was.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But yeah. Anyway, like Jay, I was also going to add in. I don't know if we mentioned this. Jay also did give us a little bit of a spoiler. He said Cigar Coop looks sharp in his blue suit. Oh, so we know you was suited up for this too.
Oh, I was wearing a sport jacket, not a tie.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna wear. No,
yeah, you can't be a bum. Yeah, you gotta look good.
I remember I actually came back from Pro Cigar, and I had a rental car in the airport garage, and I left that other sport jacket and slacks in the and it was hot out that day too, by the way. So I did that. I filmed that at Who Stole Rose's house. That scene, if people want to know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's cool.
Justo wasn't even there. Justo was in Honduras, but again, they worked with my schedule, Jesse and Steve, to do it while I was in Miami. So I didn't have to make another trip down there. I was very grateful for that. So, and I would have made the trip down there. No, I don't get recompensated for that either. I did it because it was a unique opportunity, obviously, and like I said, Jesse and Steve very much marched to their own beat with that documentary. So I do not think that is a paid propaganda thing. You were so wrong. Because there was one question I was really uncomfortable answering, actually. So.
Do you know if that... So, well, maybe I don't want to ask you that question. I guess what I want to ask you, without giving too much away, do you know how much you were in that documentary?
Jay said I had about 3 scenes in it.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they're short scenes. If I was telling Lisa, I said, if I got 30 seconds in this thing, because they shoot a lot of footage. I mean, there was a lot of people they had to shoot footage with. So I am not the biggest name by any means compared to some of the people who were in that documentary. So, and mine was more on the Suns because I've met Julio. I've spent time with Julio. I know the Suns pretty well. I know both Christian and Justo. So a lot of that was on that discussion as well. I know the whole story about Corojo coming back and everything. It's something we've covered. So I don't remember what Jay didn't tell me. He sent me a clip. It was a little hard to make out, but there were there was a bunch of really, really good questions in there that were asked, and like I said, some of the questions were challenging questions. That that this wasn't a propaganda thing. So, and they very much they do their own when they do this. They said we're doing the documentary the way we want to do it. So we're happy to do it, and they did it.
Yeah, I remember when I first found out you were going to be in it. I was like, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was like bummed that I wasn't in it, like at PCA, and I'm like, listen. Again, I'm the least important person. The important thing was that family to be in it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought we were only getting like 30 minutes, but then I looked over and I'm like, we're like 48 minminutes in. And I think the only reason why it got cut short is because the governor showed up and it was
totally, like... No, it totally was because Jesse and Steve came up to me, as well as George Brightman, who was a consultant for the movie, and they told me, and I'm like, guys, listen. I'm not even worried. Thank you for even, thank you didn't even have to tell me that. That was kind to even tell me that. I am not the reason why anyone I here. So, yeah, I was totally, yeah, of course I'm fine with that. So.
Jay said you got 3 to 4 minutes, including an awesome lighting of a cigar.
Oh, I was so nervous about lighting a cigar on camera with that. You don't know how, that was the most nerve-wracking moment. So I'm kind of.
Really?
And
What, in case you fuck it up?
Sure. And I was smoking a former cigar of the year, the Aladino Corojo Reserva Robusto.
Oh, yeah, that's a good cigar.
So they asked me what I wanted to smoke, and I'm like, it's got to be the Aladino. Cameron. And I said, Huso wasn't there, but his wife and daughters were there. And they were so nice to me, yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah, like I said, they went out of their way, and they do. And I was nervous as hell being on that camera set, by the way. So.
I'm not in the cigar industry, obviously, but I've been in that situation in my primary industry, and I did it with my dad. Not like side by side, but like we were, together, and it's out there, and people can find it. I'm not gonna send you the link because I don't want to, but it's out there. You can find it.
It's a union propaganda piece.
Oh yeah, it's a union propaganda piece, Alan. Oh man.
Yeah.
But,
by the way, I know who it is too, Jay.
but no, I mean, first of all, it's awesome to have that because I'll have that forever, and yeah, it is. It's you do get nervous. You get put on the spot, and at the time when that thing was made, I was never even supposed to be in it. It was, and in fact, I think what it became wasn't even what they originally wanted. It was supposed to be kind of a more generalized thing, and then it was when I was working with my dad. And they came, and he was like, "Oh, they're gonna do a thing and whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." And so like I went up there with him, and I stood off to the side, and then he did his thing, and he started talking about me and whatever. And then they were like, "Oh," and they were like, "Wait, your son works here?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's my son." And then it became like this. You just saw that whole crew just go, "Oh, it's a father and son here,"
Yeah.
and it was like and I went, "Oh fuck. I'm getting dragged into this."
Yeah.
I knew right away. I'm like, oh. And they're like, "Why don't you come sit down?" And I was like, I'm looking at him, and he's like, "Go." I'm like, okay. Because I'm like, I didn't know this was going to happen. I'm not prepared for this. What are they going to ask me? Like, what? I'm like, I don't know. And, this was before all of this, so I wasn't camera comfortable either. So, now, I'll sit for anybody because it doesn't really, I'd still be nervous, but back then it was like, I don't do this at all. Like, I don't I don't do this. And neither does he. So it was like, we were both kind of like, I don't want to do this at all. But we did. And looking back, it was cool to do. And it's nice to have that. So I kind of get like where you're coming from with the actual, like, sitting down and getting the, because like when you see it, it's like I'm in there for like a fair amount, probably like the same that sounds like you're in, but like it feels like you're in there for an hour and a half because they ask you and you're sitting there for like 45 minutes to an hour, and they keep asking you and they want you to tell you they keep telling you stories, or they pick well, tell me more about that, and I don't know how your experience was, but yeah, it was to be professionally interviewed, like not like we do. It's like it is different, and it's kind of like whoa.
And a documentary is very different than a like a podcast conversation, is what I'll just tell you.
Right.
So there's a lot of different moving parts. On top of that, when you see this, it looks like a movie set. I walked into Huso's backyard; it was set up like a movie set.
Right.
It was very different. Is what I'm just telling you. So there's you don't want to have like a pimple on your nose or something like that. It's like
this one would never let me.
I wouldn't.
It's daunting. It's daunting.
So I am reading Alan's comments, and I think Alan just doesn't get the point of hand rolled. I don't know. Like I think he's just looking for a different type of documentary. That's not what it is. It's not like examining mergers and acquisitions. Like it's a completely different topic.
It's not. That's not.
I think he wants a documentary that is just not what the hand rolled series is.
Alan, why don't you go watch the History Channel?
Go watch
Discovery.
No, it's just not. That's not.
That's not what it is.
That's not what this is.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. This is stories.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't
What is
even
he
think that's
looking
that
for?
I don't think it's that interesting in the cigar business, by the way. Maybe Drew Estate and Swisher could be interesting. I don't know, but I don't think there's anything exciting about that.
Maybe Alan needs to make one himself. That's your goal, Alan. Go make a merger and acquisition documentary.
I'm just curious. I mean, if we were sitting in hand rolled, and that was what the topic was, I think people would have walked out. That's all. They want to hear.
They want to
They
hear
want
the
to.
stories of the
They
business.
want to hear the story. If you watch that original hand roll movie and some of the stories that are told in that movie, it's amazing. And give credit to Pete Johnson, man, too. You know, he was the executive producer for these things, and we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Pete. You know, so
The idea is the story behind the brand, not the entire. I mean, I'm sure it talks about business, but not the entire business synopsis or whatever of what they've been doing. So
sure, it very much is the case. Um, so I mean, you know, his generations, you know, obviously a lot of these families had to, you know, emigrate out of Cuba. You know, that's a role in a couple of these. You know, you hear about the
hmm
Pepin family. You know, that if you didn't see the hand roll movie, that and it didn't move you, my goodness. And then we saw it again with Julio Aroa leaving. I mean, and that is just things that are. I've said they should do Rafael Nodal, by the way, because his story is incredible leaving Cuba as well, and I think someday they will do maybe one on him. But there's a lot of stories out there, and you know, like I said, I think people are more interested in in hearing these stories, hearing about the families, you know. And I think one thing that was really cool about the Pete documentary was learning stuff about Pete from his parents. That was what was so cool about that. And like, you know, that was funny. That was hysterical hearing Pete's mom talk about him. It was hysterical. Uh, so hearing about the Aroa brothers like busting balls and there. So it was
I
real.
loved that. Yeah.
It was great. I mean, that's it was interesting. It was entertaining. And you know, people want to hear from master blenders. They
And
do.
it
They want to hear
appeals
from.
to non-smoker. It appeals to non-smokers. Our fathers are a good example because he's made his father watch some of the hand rolled and mine as well.
I did
And they're
get my
not
dad
cigar
to watch.
smokers,
Yeah, I did.
but they'll watch them
Yeah, I did get my dad to watch
and they
that.
appreciate them.
They did.
So
They did. They
And I
really
told him, and
did.
I said, and I when the way I said, look, I said, my dad does find certain things interesting. You know, he loves a good documentary. He likes if it talks about how something is done or, you know, whatever, it usually doesn't matter what it is. He does find it interesting. But obviously he knows how involved in this I am. So I was like, "Hey, like, you know, you should watch this because there's a lot of history to it, which I know you like.
yeah.
Talks about how things are made, which you do like. But like, you know, it also kind of like really explains like why we like this." And
Oh,
he sat down and he watched
a
it.
lot of people like that. I mean, growing up, my father, we used to watch something called I think it was called The Way Things Work, and I can't remember what channel it was, but like, or there was another one I think called Unwrapped. There's a couple different ones, and it would go into like different factories and things in different industries, and it would like literally break down how your favorite, you know, product was made from the packaging and the machinery used and the, you know, and the recipe depending on what it was. And it was so cool, and people like that stuff. They want to know what goes behind it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
wish they had more
something.
shows like that now.
Yeah. You know, the like I said, it's the stories are just, you know, this morning we were interviewing Martin Cove, and the amazing thing was the stories he was telling about, you know, being in the acting industry. That, you know, it wasn't about how much money the movies made or anything like that. You know, he talks about Cagney and Lacey was almost canceled twice. You know, he's
Right.
talking about that. You know, so that was, you know, but it was amazing to hear him tell these stories that um which is incredible. So I know when we interviewed Vincent Pastore on KMA a few years ago, it was the stories that we just loved hearing. Sharing some of these stories were just incredible. And why shouldn't the cigar industry have those as well? Um, so
Yeah, I did share the link. I normally don't, but now I kind of feel like I had to out of principle. I won't do it ever again. So that's your chance to find it if you want to see it. But normally I'm not very quick to share that link. Not because I'm embarrassed about it, but it's just I really try to separate my regular career and life from everything else.
Mine is very I mean, I think mine is very separate.
Yes.
I don't even tell people when I travel most of the time. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. And there's a lot of reasons for that, by the way.
Oh, sure.
So,
I mean, of course, a lot of good reasons.
There's a lot of good reasons for that. Yeah, so there's just I keep those things very separate. People have gotten on my case. I don't talk a lot about. I do talk more about my family these days, but there's things I don't talk about that are private. As we all do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty normal. I mean, we've talked a lot about some of the stuff that we've been dealing with this year, but there's obviously a lot that we haven't shared.
Yeah, and I know you haven't, and I think you're right to not share that stuff. By the way.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It definitely you can't have everything out there, But anyway, I'm getting back. I have to say I didn't expect this to happen. But the comment section has been taken over, and like as we continue to just do our own thing, the comments is by that whole hand roll thing.
When you make a ridiculous comment like that, you're gonna, and no one agrees with it.
I know.
There is not one person. I could survey 100 people, and maybe I don't think there's one person who would agree with that. And I don't care if they're a cigar industry or outside industry person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's what happens. So, but you know what? At the end of the day, the audience is having a great time. My engagement is up. Just because of a comment. Look at that. I still win. Sorry, Coop. Couldn't help it. By the way, I was going to ask you.
I think, by the way, Drew Estate would be a fantastic story to tell.
Oh, man. About those early days?
About those early days.
That's a story.
I don't know if Jonathan would, how much he'd open up on that either, I think.
Really?
But, because Jonathan's a private guy. Jonathan's still a very private guy.
Yeah.
I do know Jonathan, and I respect him on that. But I don't know. It's a very, I don't know. But I think it would be a fascinating story.
I think it would be because when you talk about Drew Estate, you got to remember, I mean, they're one of the big four now, right? But it really wasn't, in the grand perspective of like a lot of these families, it really wasn't that long ago that, there was Jonathan Drew and Marvin Samuel, selling their wares, and now look where they are. I mean, it really, like...
But I don't think necessarily the interesting story is how they grew into a conglomerate. I think the more interesting story is some of the trials and tribulations they had early on.
No, I know, but obviously that also tells the story too in a way because and that's kind of what I mean too. I mean, it's not easy, So yes, to your point, yes, you have to tell those stories because I know it's not so much about being a conglomerate, but like the fact that you made it that far that fast. I mean, you had to go through some shit, and there was decisions that were made that were like, this could be the end. Or like we go 4 steps ahead, If
you did the Drew Estate story from start to finish, the Swisher acquisition would be the epilogue. It would be a small part. I don't think it would be a very exciting part of that documentary.
I agree.
Yeah. So same thing when Rafael Nodal got his #1 cigar. It'd probably be a small part of that. It's that whole, and I think we love people who've overcome adversity. And how they overcome adversity. We're not interested in mergers and acquisitions with that. I don't think that's the interesting piece. It's an epilogue. in this case.
Right. No, I agree.
If you're doing a business podcast, a cottage industry business podcast to me doesn't make any sense.
I mean, to Alan's point here, they started in a 16 square foot kiosk at the World Trade Center. The fact they aren't Latin, they were you talk about two Jewish kids from New York. That came into at that time, especially, they came into a business that I think, not that I agree, but there was a lot of people who would probably be like, you have no business doing this, and look what they did.
Right.
I mean, that is commendable.
Yeah, totally. So, and then I think the story is interesting how they had to transform to a premium cigar company, and there were a lot of steps that they had to take to do that. But I think the actual sale of the company is inconsequential, and it's an epilogue. It's how you end that story. Hey,
right.
They sold out, and they made not sold out, but they sold, and it turned out to be a very good move for them.
Jay Davis. So, thoughts on the Big Smoke this week? I think Jay missed. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier.
None.
Pope Marvin. None.
It's the Pope Marvin Fest. Everybody's lining up to kiss
the
the ring. I couldn't resist.
This is the time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, it does make a lot of. It is a big event. A lot of consumers go out to that event, and they don't have the access we have. So we can make fun and joke around how the industry, but it does make. And I know a lot of people have gone to it and they love it, and then they go back and they do like it. So they do a good job with that. It's a different event. It's Cigar Aficionado's event. It's not my event to cover. So. And that's I went to the one in New York once years ago. So it was at the pier when they did it, and when they used to have it in New York, it was a big week in New York for cigar events. And I'll never forget, Matt Booth one year did the Osaka launch in New York that year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is 2011 or 12, I want to say. So. That was a big week in New York, and that's when, before obviously things happened in New York that events you really couldn't have them. That was a big week. It was always these great events that they had up in New York because of the big smoke in there. So.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the stories from people who've been around. They talk about these dinners and events and the other big smokes, and it's definitely not how it used to be. But hey, Coop, I was gonna ask you because I'm looking at the time here.
Yep.
Was there anything that you wanted to mention at all before we on this show tonight? Before we wrap up?
No, I think we wrapped. I think we hit a bunch of things tonight. Not really anything else that I could say. I think we hit most of the stuff, and there's stuff we could say for the next show on some of the end of the year releases. We're getting into the year season, so I think that's always an interesting thing. Like I said, outside, I think so. I think we hit everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna leave it there then. I looked at the time. We're past our 2-hour mark, which is usually where we try to stay around. But no, this was good. Good show. Good talk. A lot of interesting things that came up that I did not expect. But thank you for being here with us, Coop. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Nicole, as well. Sorry for the sports talk, but
no, I'm good.
It's hard not to. I mean, it's.
I know.
it's Game 7 of the World Series.
Hey, as much as I'm not a huge sports person, I feel like we still have to finish it out. Got to see what happens.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
I'm a little nervous about Toronto right now. So LA's kind of.
Well, they got out of that one.
Yeah.
They got out of that one. So.
Yeah, Scherzer's out of the game now, so it's gonna be. I don't know, but. We'll see.
We'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here with us tonight. Whether you're watching with us live or listening to us later, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms. And as always, head to SmokinTobacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. With that, we say good night. We'll see you Wednesday night with Juan Lopez of Gurkha Cigars. Take care.